everybody, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you the 50 books that will self-destruct in 12 months time. So at the beginning of 2025 I will go through these books, and if I haven't read them or DNF'd or already unhauled them, I will unhaul them, and I'll probably do an update video in like maybe June, just to see how I'm going along with them. But yeah, I just counted them once I was putting them into categories, and I have exactly 50, which is so good because I love like whole numbers like that. But yeah, most of these are ones that I got in 2022, so they've been on my shelf for over a year, and some I got in like beginning of 2023. I'm not 100% sure yet, and quite a lot of them are ones I swapped for books in free little libraries, or like train stations, or they're in like from a charity shop when it's like 4 for £1 or 3 for £1, but I only really wanted like 1 or 2 in the deal. I just picked up 2 more that sounded vaguely interesting to me. So yep, I'm just going to show you the book, the title, the author, but I'm not actually going to like explain that much about it, only like if it needs to be. But yeah, I hope this isn't going to be too long, but get yourself a coffee or whatever if you want to, and without further ado, let's get into my crime and thrillers. Love the coffee. So first we have is If I Can't Have You by Charlotte Levin. My friend has actually read this, and I think she enjoyed it, and she kind of wants me to read it so we can converse. But yeah, this, I believe it's sort of romancy, but it sort of turns into a thriller-ish book. I'm not 100%, but yeah, this actually does sound really interesting, but I just haven't picked it up. Then we have The Woman in the Window by A.G. Finn. I think I've seen a TV adaptation or film adaptation of this. I'm not 100%, but yeah, I don't know about this one. I think I don't actually know why. I actually kind of not remember how I even got that. Then we have Snap by Belinda Bauer. This I think I actually really want to read, just because I'm really getting into my like thriller era, and this obviously suits it, and it just sounds interesting. So yeah, some of these I might be reading sooner than the other categories because I'm in that state of mind at the moment, so yeah, we'll see. Then we've got Soot by Andrew Martin. I actually picked this up when I was on my way to Bristol in the vlog that I made last year, and I started reading it on the coach. I'm like 22 pages in, and this sounds really actually quite interesting. It's sort of like horror-ish, like ghostly, but also like a mystery murder thing as well, and trying to like discover that, and it's got a nice red spread. So I do hope I really actually enjoy this, so I can keep it because I like spreads, but we shall see if I read it or not. Then we got Tangerine by Christine Mangan. I believe it's sort of more like literary thriller because just sort of what the blurb says to me. But yeah, this sounds interesting, and I love this cover so much. I love how she's just like icon. I love that like orange color, it's beautiful. Then we've got The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Again, I think this is sort of literary as well. It says it's a murder mystery, but I believe it's more about the main character's like processing and the way he is, in a way. I don't know, because he has Asperger's syndrome, so I believe it's sort of like that rep and just showing how he sees the world. But yeah, I do actually really want to read this, but I just don't really like my copy. It's like a bit dirty, but anywho. Then we have Girl A by Abigail Dean. Don't really know what to say about this. I was at a time where I was just like, this sounds so interesting, and it looks really nice as well, but I just haven't picked it up since, which is weird because I remember that one. I kept seeing it in charity shops, and I saw it in one that was like 2 for £1, so I was like, oh my god, I'm so gonna get it. That was actually the main one, and I believe the other one actually was a DVD I got from my mum, but I just haven't picked it up. Again, this thriller book is such an exquisite cover. This is one of the first books I think I got when I started reading, like in a charity shop deal. It's The Truant by Kate Weinberg. And this, I just actually love the look of this book, and I love like yellow I hope I enjoyed this because I really want to keep that cover. That cover. And then finally, for the thrillers, we've got The Pact by Sharon Bolton. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It looks interesting and it sounds interesting, and I hope I enjoy it. Okay, and then now we've got I've just put contemporaries and literary together because it's easier that way. But we shall just go through them, whatever. The first is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I remember my friend got this book, and then afterwards I saw it in a charity shop and I was like, oh my god, maybe I should get it so we can do a buddy read or something, but I should already read it by then. Yeah, I do really want to read this book. I just never pick it up ever. And I think putting it on this list will definitely make me pick it up or not. So yeah, we've got that. Then we have Elizabeth is Missing by Emma Healy. I think this actually sort of, yeah, it's like literary, it's like a mystery and also a little bit historical. Yeah, I'm excited to read this because I watched the film like a couple years ago and I kind of want to rewatch it, and I think this is a book that my mum will actually kind of like, so even if I don't enjoy it or I DNF it or unhaul it, I'm probably going to give it to my mum because I think she would really like this book. Then we have About That Night by Elaine Bedell. Yeah, I don't know, I think this is, it sounds interesting, but a couple on here I feel like are maybe suited more to an older audience that I would enjoy but maybe not yet. And yeah, but I'm still gonna give all of them a chance if I can. Then we have Kismet by Luke Treadgett. It might actually be a little bit dystopian, I'm not 100%, but anyway, yeah, and I like books set in London because I live in London, and this is quite clearly a London new Route Master bus. I know my buses. And yeah, but also I don't like this colour green. I think it's a very unpleasant looking green. But anywho, then we have The Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. Yeah, this just sounds interesting, and it's also quite short, and I love medium short books. So yeah, if you want to know what any of these about, I just look them up. Yeah, that's the answer to that question. Then we have The Weekend by Charlotte Wood. I remember I was making a little free library vlog, and I had to like trudge up this like really steep hill, and it was raining in like somewhere like near the top of Kent, and this was like the only book that was like good that whole day, I think, or thingy. So I've kept it thinking I would want to read it, but again, this is sort of aimed at older audience, but it does sound interesting and I do want to read it, so yeah, that. Then we have The Keeper of Lost Things by Ruth Hogan. The premise sounds interesting, but I don't know, I'm not that keen on the cover. I just think it's a little bit, I don't know, it's a bit too much going on, and I'm just not that interested, but I do want to read it because yeah, I don't want it to go away. Then we have Whispers Through a Megaphone by Rachel Elliott. I can't remember what this is about. I think it's sort of literary and it's about something. So that. Then our next stack. Oh gosh. We have Submarine by Joe Dunthorne. I think I actually got this year. Or maybe not, I'm not sure, but it's stamped from the quarantine like little free library. Yeah, I don't know, I was thinking of doing a video about reading like early 2000s like popular like books like that, and Fault in Our Stars, Looking for Alaska, and the other one, Perks of Being a Wallflower. I was thinking of reading something like that, which I might still do, but the other ones on there I think I do actually have more interest in, so they're being kept on the actual shelf, but that one is less so. But yeah, next we have 30 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I got this ages ago, and I don't know if I really want to read it or not, because obviously I know the topic, but I have read quite a few like mental health, suicide related books, and yeah, I feel like I can know how if a book does it well or not, and I was quite interested to see. Also, I do like the silver, because like there's like no silver books, but yeah, I don't know about this one. I'm gonna put it on here, and that's the point of the full log video. Then we have Worst Idea Ever by Jane Fallon. I remember I got this like on the day I was going to see my friend, and I was like, this sounds so interesting, I need this in my life. But then I've just sort of, my interest has sort of gone downhill a little bit. But I don't know, I love this blue as well. It's such a nice, like, I don't know, aqua-y, turquoise sort of thing. Then we have a very popular book, The Life of Pi by Jan Martel. I love that this is so floppy because it's an American edition. I started watching the film, but it just looked very boring, and I didn't watch any more of it. But I found this in, I believe, a little free library or maybe a charity shop. I'm just playing with the flop. And I picked it up thinking I would read it, because I don't know why, but yeah, I do want to read this. I just my interest is sort of not that high at the moment. Then we have Alice Munro, Dear Life. It's a collection of short stories. Once again, I started reading this like whilst I was waiting for my mum in the doctor's, because it was near there, but it's not there anymore. And someone left a little bookmark in it. But yeah, I'm gonna see. I think a lot of people compare her to Margaret Atwood. I don't actually know the reason why. Maybe because they're just Canadian, but I'm not sure. I think I've seen people comparing them, or oh no, maybe it's just that she's just blurbed it. Alice Munro is among the major writers of English fiction of our time by Margaret Atwood. Well, that is going straight on my show now. I love Margaret Atwood, so when she blurbs books, I usually want to read them, but we shall see. Next we have is Stories We Tell Ourselves by Sarah Francois. I was going to read this last year around Christmas time, but I didn't, and then this time it wasn't near me to see, so I didn't read it during Christmas time. So I might have to wait again, or I just can read it any time of the year, but we shall see. This is actually going quite long. Then we have The Way Back to Us. I believe I should have got this at the beginning of this year, but my interest has just died down. And I think there's just far too much going on in that cover for me to like it that much. So yeah, obviously by Kay Langsdale. I don't think I actually said that. Then we have The Death and Life of Charlie St. Cloud by Ben Sherwood. Yeah, I don't know about this book. It's sort of, again, like early 2000s, I believe. Yeah, 2005. And yeah, I don't know. Then we have The Geography of Friendship by Sally Piper. This I do want to read. It does sound very interesting. But again, maybe a little bit older, so I don't know. But yeah, that's on there. Then we have The Switch by Beth O'Leary. I've kept her other book, the Road Trip, on my actual bookshelves, because that one I think just sounds a bit more interesting than this one. But I wouldn't mind reading this. But I'm not that interested in romance all that much, so we shall just see how I get on with it. And then the final pile of literary contemporaries is In Said Diary by Chris Cleave. Yeah, one thing I don't really know what it's about, but I know it's about sort of like motherhood and sort of like domestic fiction. so we shall see. Then we have Louise Pentland's Wild Like Me. This is really fat. I don't know, once again, it sounds interesting, but I don't know if it's really for me at this moment in my life to read this, but yep. Then we have two Dawn French books, Oh Dear Sylvia and A Tiny Bit Marvelous. I love Dawn French. I love her, like, things that she's produced and acted in. But these stories do sound interesting, but I just don't know if I'm gonna actually pick them up if they're really suited that much for me. I think if I do read something by her, it might be like her non-fiction book, like her new one, Twat Files. I'll put the picture there. I think that sounds actually really interesting. Or maybe like her biography, or actually the newer one of her fiction. I can't remember the name for that for me, but that one I think just sounds a little bit more interesting than these two, but we shall see. Also, they're quite big, and if I'm not 100% interested in a book and it's big, I don't think I'm gonna be that interested in reading it either. Then we have Donald Ryan from A Low and Quiet Sea. I believe this is a collection of short stories or integrated like stories in a way, I'm not sure, but this I think actually sounds quite interesting, and my mum picked this up for me when she was like going through a station. So yeah, and I love Irish fiction recently. Well, actually I've loved it all the time, but I'm quite interested in reading this, so this actually might be a more recent read than some of the others. Then we have My Name is Leon by Kit DeWall. I got this when I was in Worcester when I was going to see my sister, so it actually holds more of a trade. So actually, I don't know actually why it is on here, because I don't think I was actually meant to put this on here, but you know what, it's here and I'm showing it, so if I don't read this book in a year, it will be gone. But hopefully not, because I do actually want to read this book quite a lot. Also, I want to see the adaptation that's been made of it. I think we've had it recorded on our like Virgin box for like a couple months, like longer than that. But I was like to my mum, no, I need to read the book first before we can actually watch it. So hopefully I do. Then we have The White Tiger by Aravind Adijiga. I'm so sorry, I have not said that right. But yeah, this sounds slightly interesting, but I just also, there's like no blurb for it on the back, it's just people's like reviews. He's like a philosopher, entrepreneur, servant, murderer, ... And it just sounds interesting, but at the same time, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if it's up. So, yeah. And finally, for this category, we have got Marion the Mistress by Joanne Trollope, or I don't want to say Trollope because I don't think that's how it's pronounced. But yeah, this, I don't know how to feel about the cover. I think it's muted and it's quite pretty, but at the same time, it does make me feel a little bit sick. But yeah, we've got this, and this has also been stamped. And yeah, it seems like it does sound interesting, but it is maybe a little bit older than me. Oh, that was a long one. Let me have a little bit of coffee before I go on to the next category. I love coffee. These are all shorter categories now. The first is historical. We've got The Gun Room by Georgina Harding. I think this cover is so pretty, but I'm not that interested in the story, so if I don't read it, I will be giving it away. But yeah, that sounds interesting. Then we have The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaffer and Annie Barrows. It's based off of a like true story, but some parts have been fictionalized, I believe. I have watched the film and I really enjoyed the film. I believe it's Lily James in it. Yeah. And I kind of wanted to read the book as well, but if I'm not that 100% interested in it, I think I'm probably just gonna DNF on haul it. So yeah. Then we have the Empress Orchid by An Chi Min. When I first picked this up, I thought it sounded really interesting about a woman trying to like rise the ranks of Chinese like society. Yeah, I just haven't picked it up since, but we shall see if I do. And penultimately, we've got The Wilding by Maria McCann. This is set in 1672, just after Civil War, and I don't have that good track record with books set around that time, so we shall see how I find this book. But it does sound interesting, and yeah. And then finally, we've got The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas by John Boyne. I've seen the film and I do enjoy the film, but I know this is very sad. But I feel like loads of people have read and enjoyed this book, and it's going to be quite impactful. And I do like me a sad book, so we shall see how I get on with this. Then we have, I don't know what he said. These are sort of just like weird sort of sci-fi-ish things, I don't know, but we've got The Giver and Messenger by Lois Lowry. These are, I believe, the first two or the something in the like a quartet, and yeah, it's a little bit dystopian. It sounds kind of interesting, but I just don't know if I really want to read them. Exactly, it's not really my genre, so we shall see. Then we have The Girl Who Just Appeared by Jonathan Harvey. This is like different time frames, or two actually, I believe, and it sounded a little bit interesting but also quite confusing, so yeah. And then we have Naomi Ishiguro's Escape Route. I want to say this is short stories. Yeah, quite a few short stories, and they look like sci-fi-esque, and also this is a proof copy, so it's really nice and floppy, and I love me a floppy book. And then the final category, which is probably ones I'm likely not going to read, quite a few of most of these, but we've got The Consolidations of Philosophy by Alain de Botton. I've got a more recent book about like different thoughts on philosophy, which I just think it sounds much more interesting than this, but we shall see. And I wouldn't mind reading by something by him, because I think he's done quite a few things, but yeah. Then we have This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. I do want to read this, but I know quite a few people have said that the way he infused like humor into a book about this issue is not the best done, but I am still quite interested. But this is a book that if I don't like or I'm not that interested in, I'm probably going to give it to my sister, because I know she would probably like this more than me, so but I'm not going to see her for a while, so let's see. If I don't read it by, I think, like March, or by at least by the next time I see her, I'll probably just going to give it to her anyway, so yeah. Then we have Into the Heart of Borneo by Raymond O'Hanlon. I picked this up in a little free library thinking I'll be interested in to read it, because not a lot, but when I do my work in geography, which is my degree, I'm sort of doing, I have done quite a lot of focus on Borneo and Southeast Asian rainforest, the biodiversity and conservation there, so I thought it might be quite interesting for that, but it's just sort of like a travel-ish book, but we shall just see. Then we have The Power of Chi by Michael Page. It's an introduction to Chinese mysticism and philosophy. So I do think this does sound interesting, but this copy is just really kind of not very nice. It's very yellowed and thingy, but I do think this actually does sound interesting, but yeah, we'll just see. Then we've got The Haunting of Alma Fielding by Kate Summerscale. I remember I picked this up when I was in this like old house in like somewhere like Eastish London, no, Westish London, and it just sounded like interesting. This is a true crime. No, this is like a true ghost story thing. Yeah, it says that there. I could have just read that off the front, but yeah, it does sound interesting, but I just don't really know if I'm that into the topic. And then finally, number 50, we have Best Foot Forward by I'm Not Gonna Even Try. I'm sorry, I do need to know how to pronounce it if I do read this, but yeah, I'm not gonna try that name because I'm just gonna butcher it with every which way, and I don't want to butcher this. But this I picked up in a little free library, mostly because someone has gone through and like highlighted and like annotated and done these little I can't remember the words now, but tabs, and I just thought that was just so cute, and I would love to like see what someone else has written about it. But at the same time, it's about the Pilgrim's Guide to the Sacred Sites of the Buddha. And whilst I am interested in Buddhism, I think I'm more interested in like the actual like philosophy and things like that, more than something like this about going to sites. But still, it might be interesting, and if I do get to it, I will let you know. But anywho, they are the 50 books that will self-destruct in 12 months if I don't read them. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. It's been a little bit long one, but whatever. If you have read any of these and like you think they're worth it or they're not worth it at the same time, do let me know in the comments below, because it will be helpful. Yeah. Anywho, hope you enjoy the rest of your day or evening, morning, night, wherever you are in the world, and I shall see you very soon. Bye.